What's up, guys? It's Taylor over at Infinity Watch. In this video today, we're going to talk about what Rise of Skywalker needs to win fans over. Now, just a big disclaimer about this video. I happen to be on the side of people not liking Last Jedi. I did not like The Last Jedi. The first time I saw it, I was okay with it. There were some things in Force Awakens that I kind of overlooked because the way they set up the second movie seemed to be really awesome, right? Everyone was expecting Last Jedi, especially if you're a longtime Star Wars fan, to be this Empire Strikes Back of the trilogy. Everyone was expecting it to be the best. The marketing was awesome. You know, we all were really excited for it. The trailers were amazing. And then we sat in our seats and were really disappointed, right? Now, the difference between this movie that's coming out, Rise of Skywalker, and Last Jedi is that obviously it's going to be directed by J.J. Abrams, someone who did The Force Awakens, which was a movie that I really enjoyed. So the difference is that I feel like I can have a little more faith in J.J. than Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson, while he was fantastic in doing Breaking Bad, which is a show I've watched thoroughly, and I think it's probably the favorite show of all time, he didn't really have a good understanding of the characters as much as JJ did. Like with J.J. Abrams, he's worked very closely with George Lucas. Even on this film, he's bringing back a lot of old things from the prequels, the original trilogy. Whereas, you know, Rian Johnson's movie, The Last Jedi, it was all about just getting rid of stuff in the past. And, you know, that was kind of, you know, for his point of view, it was like a shock, you know, subverting expectations. When in reality, it really backfired. It actually made fans hate it, and fans really, really want to see things reference the prequels, the original movies, and then introduce the characters slowly on. I think that would have been a better approach, is to, you know, have the first movie all about the original characters and slowly build them up. At this point, you know, it's kind of too late. We do have Kylo Ren, who happens to be related to the Skywalker bloodline. We have no idea about Rey yet, but in this video, I'm going to talk about the top 10 reasons or the top 10 things that need to be in this movie to win fans over back to Star Wars again. There's a lot of people on the fence, people that are not really sure about the movie, people that think a lot of these marketing things are fake. You know, they think that the Palpatine isn't really going to have much of a role. They think the whole Anakin news about, you know, about the Fan Expo being canceled. If you guys didn't know, there was a Fan Expo that was supposed to come out where Ian McDiarmid and, you know, Hayden Christensen were supposed to be doing some interviews, and Disney threatened to cancel or threatened to sue them if they did not cancel the event. So people are thinking, oh, Anakin's in the movie, but then some people also think that he's not in the movie. That is all a ploy by Disney, and that they're just trying to get people to watch the movie and completely crush our expectations, right? I don't think they're doing that. I think they're not that dumb. I think they do know that The Last Jedi did hurt a lot of them, especially in regards to, you know, the kind of sales that happened at Solo, right? The movie Solo, Han Solo, was a good movie. I actually enjoyed it, but you know, it because of Last Jedi, it really tore a lot of fans, so a lot of people didn't see it. Okay, so first one, number one, Rey needs to have flaws. Okay, that's like a big one that we see. Now, in The Force Awakens, she did have a few. She did have a few flaws. We did see her lose. We did see her struggle with a little bit, right? And then, you know, in that final fight with Kylo, you know, she just awakened the Force, and then she used it against Kylo, which goes on to my next point, which is we have to see her turn bad, right? So her having flaws and seeing her actually turn bad and actually embracing that would be really, really, really awesome to see. Now, I don't think Disney is going to actually prolong that and keep it that way. I think there's going to be some kind of twist. You know, if you've read the Dark Empire, you know, storyline where Luke actually turns to the dark side on purpose to gain Palpatine's trust, I kind of feel they might do that, right? So there might be a period of time where she does that. I think though that if they do that approach, they need to follow the same approach that they did in Arrow. If you guys haven't seen Arrow, it's a CW show about the Green Arrow. There was a season where Oliver Queen, you know, pretended to be a member of the League of Assassins. Now, what they did is that they really fooled you in the show. At least it fooled me. They showed him killing his best friend, which is John Diggle. They showed him doing these awful, terrible things, and you know, it made you very, very convinced that he actually turned, that he actually became, you know, a member of the League of Assassins, which in his case he became Ra's al Ghul. But then at the end, you know, he has this little moment where you think he's turned bad, but then he turns good. He has this little you know, thing in his eye where you notice, okay, he's actually faking it. I think that's what they should do with Rey if she does end up becoming bad and turning good. The second thing that we need is Anakin Skywalker in the flesh. A lot of people are talking about him being a Force ghost. I say F that. You need to have him in the flesh. If you're bringing Palpatine back as a person, you need to bring Anakin back as a person. I would love to see them both duke it out, battle, you know, with the lightsabers and everything. Anakin from Episode 3 fighting Vader, or maybe Anakin from another timeline where he has, has been good, right? He turned into a good guy, and maybe he survived the Emperor's, attempts, right? Maybe a fully realized Jedi Master Anakin fighting off the Emperor. I think that would be absolutely sick. The audience would go crazy, and a Force Ghost just doesn't cut it. I think that's just a very lazy attempt at putting him in the movie. I'd still be happy, but I need to see something like that. And which brings me to our third point, which is we need to see crazy lightsaber battles. I will admit, The Last Jedi, the fight between Kylo Ren and Rey, or actually where they teamed up together, that was amazing. That was something so cool. I think that was really foreshadowing of this movie, that they're going to be teaming up and fighting. And as a matter of fact, just as a side note, I think that all the scenes where they're showing them colliding lightsabers, I think that's Palpatine taking over the body of either Rey or Kylo, and they're fighting each other. I think they're battling in the wills. It could be even a vision for what I think. So we need to have crazy lightsabers. We need to see Rey throwing the lightsaber. Well, she did in the trailer, which is awesome. We need to see him throw the lightsaber. We need to see like crazy lightning. We need to see force powers, things that are in the Jedi Outcast game. We need to see things like that. And then the fourth thing that we need is exploring Rey's parentage. The actors have said that they are going to be exploring that. They're actually going to be talking about it this time. They're not going to just kind of brush it aside and make it not a big issue. They're actually going to be talking about it, right? Now, my theory on this, I could be right, I could be wrong, is that I believe that she is also not only a descendant of Anakin, meaning, she's a descendant of Luke. I also think that she's related to Palpatine. So here's my theory. I think that Rey was created by Palpatine using Luke's hand. I think using Luke's hand gives her the kind of sense of goodness, right? That gives her the sense of the light side, while as, everything else about her is Palpatine, so she has that 5% Luke inside of her that tells her to go for good things, where she has the majority of her is Palpatine, which she will come to realize is her actual self, right? And I believe that she's a clone. I think that she's one of several clones that Palpatine has created, because we all know, if you guys have played Battlefront, or if you knew about the comics that they were coming out, the Battle of Jakku, Jakku was a planet where Palpatine was actually experimenting and doing things like that. So I think that's a good sign to say that Palpatine is her father as well as Luke. I think that's a good explanation. Now the next thing is number 5. We need to focus on Rey, Finn, Poe, and Kylo. That's it. I don't want to see Rose. I don't want to see her in the movie. Nothing against the actress. I think the actress was fine, but she was just a character that did not make any sense. She had no reason to be there, and she actually just kind of was a distraction. Like, you don't need her. And I would even come to say that Princess Leia, like, she should have died in the last movie. I mean, let's be honest here. You're killing off so many characters. Why not kill off her? You killed off Han Solo. Honestly, Han Solo, that was... I understand why they made that choice, but to make Kylo, like, somehow hesitate with his mother, but never with his father, it's kind of weird, right? Like, obviously, taking your parents' life is a big deal, but, you killed off Luke, you killed off Han. Okay, Leia's obviously going next, so... She's, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. So, next one, number 6, we got to show the Knights of Ren. You got to show the Knights of Ren. You can't just dip on it. You can't just kind of glance over it. There's so much backstory to how Kylo, left the temple and burned it down and took people with him. I want to see that. They need to show us a very long explainer of why that happened. Now, number 7, we need to see the origins of the First Order, because the first time I saw the movie, saw The Force Awakens, I was like, okay, cool, the First Order. Who the heck are they? Like, we don't know who they are. It's just like they kind of like threw us in there and expect us to know. And I kind of think they might be setting up the the Disney Plus series to talk about it. You got to at least explain a little bit about how they came. Who the heck is Snoke, right? Where did Snoke come from? We know they come from the outer regions, right? They need to explain the origins of the First Order. Like, how do they come to be? Is this a contingency plan of Palpatine? Are they not related to Palpatine? Have they been around this whole time? Have they been waiting for the Empire to fall? I heard that theory as well. And then number 8, they need to bring Ahsoka and Ezra. Now, these next 3 points are kind of, outlandish. They're a little bit out there, but it would definitely make people fall in love with Star Wars again. I guarantee it. Like, if you bring Ahsoka and Ezra, from the world between worlds, which is reason number 9, show us the world between worlds, that would be amazing. That would be like Endgame level, Avengers Endgame level stuff. Bringing those 2 characters, everybody wants them. We all ask for it so many times. We always get teased about it in the movies. Even in Rogue One, there's this actress that was cast that everyone thought was Ahsoka, and then it turns out it wasn't, right? And then when in Last Jedi, Benicio del Toro everyone thought, oh gosh, is that Ezra in the future, right? Is that Ezra as an adult? And then he turned out to be this stuttering, little blabbering, just annoying character that had nothing to do with the plot very well. Like that whole Canto Bight thing was just pointless. I can go on about that. And then number 9, take us the world between worlds. I already explained that. And then number 10, give us a 2-parter. Give us episode 10. I have this crazy theory that episode 9 is going to end in a cliffhanger. I think that we're not going to end with a trilogy. I'm just kind of throwing that out there. I have nothing to support this other than the fact that I've heard rumors in the past that was their plan to begin with. And if anything, there's so much more story to tell. Like, I don't know how you can end all the movies like this. Like, you can't end it in one movie, and unless you make it increase incredibly long, I don't think it's really possible. I think because of what happened in episode 8, episode 8 was a big waste of time. So if you really want to wrap up the story well, I think having an episode 9 and 10 might be something you have to do. Now, some people are going to be pointing the finger at Disney and being like, aha, so you're retconning The Last Jedi. Screw it. Yeah, retcon The Last Jedi. Please retcon it. I'm totally 100% okay with that. Like, if they feel like they need to tell the story by prolonging it, by making episode 10, more, that'd be awesome, and I have this strong feeling they're going to do that. What better way to end the Skywalker trilogy on number 10, not number 9? End it on number 10. I think that would be great. I think the way it's going to end is going to really set up, something crazy. And the way I even predicted is this. I really think that there's going to be this big battle that's going on, and Kylo's going to die, and there's going to be this moment where all hope is lost. Maybe not the rebellion, they don't call that anymore, but the resistance loses, and then everyone's like, oh crap. Or maybe even Rey just completely turns to the dark side, and that's how it ends. That's what I was hoping with The Last Jedi, when Kylo stuck out his hand and asked her to take his hand and join him. I really, really, really would have forgiven the movie, as crappy as the Canto Bight and unnecessary stuff was, if she actually said yes, and there's a lot of parallels to these movies with the Old Republic. If you've played those games, you do know that there's Kylo, there's not Kylo, see, I almost called him Kylo, there's Darth Revan, and then the other girl, her name escapes me, but they're very similar. It's a very similar storyline where she was good and turns bad, and he was bad and turns good, right? That's why he has the purple lightsaber. It's like the balance between light and dark, and I would love to see that play out, and I'm really hoping that this movie gives us hope for the fans, right? Because seeing The Last Jedi, it affected a lot of people close to me. Like, it affected my family very closely. Like, like my brother in particular, like, he literally has just changed completely how he sees movies now. He always thinks there's some kind of agenda, and he always thinks that there's something wrong, like with when the Star Wars comes out. Like, there's always something that's going to be tricky. There's something that's going to backhand us because of the way The Last Jedi turned out. Like, The Last Jedi was supposed to be all about Luke, and then they just completely turned Luke into a joke. They just turned him into an absolute joke, and they need to fix it, And I'm okay with Disney fixing it. Some people are not okay with it. Some people are just still criticizing Disney for backtracking and backpedaling and, trying to fix their mistakes. Go ahead, fix your mistakes, please. I want them to fix them. I don't want them just to ignore it, right? And that's all I have to say. I'm not done for the rambling. If you guys like this video, please like it. If you want to see future videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button, click the bell so you get notifications. And I would like to hear you guys' thoughts. What do you guys think about this movie? What do you think about these top 10 reasons? What other reasons would get you in the movie theater? Hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you all later.